baby. So it's exciting for him, but certainly left a gap in the organization. We were talking with the executive team in terms of what's the best way to fill this role, and we certainly looked at outside candidates, but Tiki had a very interesting idea. She said, what do you think about Ryan Walsh moving over from finance and stepping into the Director of General Services? And when she first suggested it, it took me a day or so to process. And when I suggested it to Ryan, it took him a day or two to process as well. But he ultimately agreed and said he'd love to do that. And I think it's a great fit for a number of reasons. One is, one of the things we're focusing on in General Services is our customer service experience. You know, the Gatehouse is the first experience that people have when they come into the community, the front desk, and Ryan has exceptional customer service skills. Any of you all that work with him in the finance department. And so I think he brings a lot of that to General Services. It's also a great opportunity for him. It gives him an opportunity to learn a large part of the business. It gives him an opportunity to demonstrate his leadership and his management expertise. And one of the things I tell our employees is that the people who are going to move up in the organization are the people who move around. Because when you understand different parts of the organization, you position yourself for opportunities in the future. And so we were very excited to have Ryan stepping into that position. The great thing is Matt has been very kind and said, you know, I want to make sure this transition goes well. You know, I'm not just going to give 2 weeks notice. Let me know what support you want from me. And so he's agreed to work through January, so it gives us time to transition and make sure that we don't skip a beat. The next opportunity was, what do we do about our Director of Finance and Accounting? And I asked Garrett Long, who is currently our financial analyst, if he would consider stepping into that position, and he has agreed to. So he is transitioning and moving over to run the accounting and finance department. And again, one of the things that's great is we have this continuity. Ryan's not going anywhere, so he's continuing to help teach Garrett how to close the books. Ryan's going to be here in January when we close the books for the year and support us on that. And Matt's going to continue to help transition through January. So those were some organizational changes that we had at the director level. In addition, you all know that Jody is leaving us today, unfortunately, her last day. So please, let's thank her. Jody has been an awesome part of creating Summit Vista. She was part of the startup team. We worked together in the operations office. She's sort of a jack of all trades. She was catering manager. She's most recently been, staff development manager, and she's hands-on. She'll be serving in the restaurants, and she's been an integral part of helping to build this organization. And we thank you for that. That did leave a hole in culinary arts, and I'm pleased to announce that we had an opportunity for promotion. Dallin raised his hand and said, I would love to step into the staff development position and help in the recruitment and the training. And again, fantastic opportunity for Dallin. He's been an assistant supervisor of the restaurant, so he knows the operations, but it's a promotion opportunity for him as well. So when you see him, please congratulate him on that. The other announcement I have is another sad one. Unfortunately, we've got someone who is leaving us, and this is her last day today, and that is our accounting specialist, Elizabeth. And she had a great opportunity at a large company with a salaried position in an accounting department. But those of you who have worked with her know that she is excellent at what she does in terms of her accuracy. I mean, we have not had, errors on our bills, and she's also got exceptional customer service. And so that's a great opportunity for her, but we will certainly miss her. Today is her last day, so if you have a chance to swing by the admin or accounting office on your way back, please do, and thank her for what she's done. We are in the process of hiring another accounting specialist. I know there were interviews this week. We had 2 very strong candidates. Have we made a decision? You have made? We're waiting to hear back. Okay, so we've made an offer to a candidate, one of the 2 strong candidates, and we're waiting to hear back. So we've got continuity there. Garrett's been training with Elizabeth. We also have support from our management company, Life Care Services, if we need any support as we move into billing in January. So those are some of the pieces that have been moving around over the last couple weeks, and please thank the folks who are leaving, Jody and Elizabeth, for what they've done, and please congratulate the other folks in terms of their new opportunities and promotions. I wanted to give you a financial update in terms of where we are. We're getting ready to close out the year. So we've got financials for 11 months into it. November was another good month for us. We had a $27,000 positive variance in terms of our net operating income. And year to date, we're running about, my glasses on here, $390,000 better than our budget year to date for our net operating loss. Now we're still, we spent about $7 million year to date. That's expected. We're in startup mode. The good news is that every month that loss gets less and less and less, and our goal is to get to an operational break-even at 400 occupied apartment homes. And we're on track to achieve that. The biggest variance has been on our revenue, the top line, the monthly service plans that we take in. And that we were off by almost $100,000 in terms of what we projected to collect versus what we actually did. And that's primarily driven by occupancy variance from what our budget was to what the actuals are. The good news is our directors have been very conscious about managing their expenses. If we're not bringing in the money that we projected at the top, we've got to make sure that we're managing our expenses throughout our business to reach our bottom line. And that's why we have that $390,000 positive variance. So they've been looking at staffing, looking at spending, and we've been able to come in positive even though we're not collecting as much money as we expected. Our key metric, our one key number, if you ask probably any of our employees, they'll tell you the most important number for us is occupancy, right? Because that drives our top line. We were sitting at about 125 occupied apartment homes as of Monday or so. And that's about 97, 99 in Red Pine Ridge and another 26 in Maple Point. So those are good numbers. They're behind what we projected. Part of that is because we projected, when we did the budget originally, a September opening of Maple Point. We didn't open until October, so we're just behind a little bit there. The sales team is working hard to close out the year. We had a goal of 148 occupied apartment homes, and we're going to probably come in closer to about 135, 136. So we're at 125 now. We've got about another 10 scheduled before the end of the year. And the good news is we've got a path to be able to make that up as we get into the first and second quarters of next year. One of the challenges we had this year is Q1, we took our eye off the ball in terms of occupancy because we needed to get reservations to be able to start Poplar Creek. And so for 3 months, instead of selling apartment homes in Red Pine Ridge and Maple Point, we had to get to this 30 number to be able to break ground here. We've been able to talk to the investors and the bank and say, listen guys, we're shooting ourselves in the foot here, because if we had been able to focus on these 2 buildings and not reserve a building that's 2 years out, we would be at our 148 number. And they finally get it now and they understand it. And so one of the reasons that we're confident that we can get back to where we're projecting is they're not forcing us to reserve Spruce Grove, the 4th building, at 30%. So we don't have to take our eye off the ball January, February, and March of this year. We can continue to stay focused on the buildings that are already open. So that's where we are from an occupancy perspective and sales. Yes.
Thank you. Kelly is not here today, but she wanted us to give an update on occupancy and also just to extend a very sincere thank you to each of you. With in this room and everyone who lives in this community has been so generous with their time doing interviews with Kelly. being willing to be a part of the Facebook Live events that we host, being available for photographs, the photo ops for our newsletter and our brochures. And we appreciate you so very much. What you do and your participation matters, and it has an effect on what we're doing. Also, many of you have spoken at our events that we've hosted. Every single person that I run into when we do tours, when we have visitors, the organic conversations, the sincerity and authentic answers that you give to people who have questions, who are interested in this lifestyle, in being a part of Summit Vista, has the greatest impact. And I just want to thank you. It feels so good as Jason and I, or Kelly, or anyone on our team is walking through this community and being able to look around and have you be so open and willing to share your experience to help other people. So we want to thank you for that. Additionally, we've had at least 7 residents who live with us refer a person who's moved in with us. And I know that most of you probably know about our resident referral program. I want to specifically thank and acknowledge the Morrows, the Moles, Pam Mullins. We have the Moons. Carolyn Holdsworth has referred 2 people who's moved in here. Rob Welch referred Rosemary, Bonnie White, and Lil has referred a friend who is moving in next month. And we absolutely know that good friends make great neighbors, and we want to thank you all for spreading the love and sharing your experience here with your friends. As a reminder, we are generous and want to say thank you in a special way. So we have a structured resident referral program. So when you refer a friend who moves into Summit Vista, you get your 1 month of your monthly service plan waived, as well as your friend who moves in. So we love to be generous and thank you all, and just want to really sincerely acknowledge your participation in what we're doing. And we've got a list of people who really enjoy speaking at our lunch and learns and participating at our events. If you haven't done that and it's something that you want to try and you want to talk about, come down and let us know. We would love to have even a larger pool of people share their story and reach out to the folks who are just now learning about Summit Vista. And lastly, the parade of homes that we had in December, as you all know, we tried something a little bit different and invited folks who were part of our wait list, and then folks who had been in our community who had learned about us. And those were 2 very successful events. Many of you participated and actually spent a couple of hours spending time with the folks who attended. And we've had, from those 2 events thus far, 2 reservations. So 2 households committed to moving in with us and 6 appointments. And we absolutely consider those successful events, and it never would have happened without you all giving up your time and your energy and your heart. So we appreciate you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Christy. And yeah, those parade of homes was really fun because people can come and they can sit in here and they can have a meal and we can talk to them about how great Summit Vista is. But to have people be able to walk around, see floor plans, talk to residents, it makes a big difference. And so those were fun events and they were very successful events. So thank you. In terms of construction, we are on track with Poplar Creek. You've seen that go up. It's been very fun to watch that go up over the bridge. It's a very interesting construction style. It's the first time we've done it. You've seen that they're prefabricating the framework and then lifting it in place as opposed to building it there. And it's allowed us to accelerate the construction schedule. We are on track for an October opening of Poplar Creek. And the really exciting news is that it looks like we're going to be able to, it looks like we actually already have broken ground on our 4th building, Spruce Grove. They're actually doing site work. If you look out sort of past the parking lot, you will see stakes in the ground, and so they're already starting the site work on that. And the reason that we're so excited about it is that given a 17-month build cycle means that we get to open a building in June instead of October. And that's huge for us because the ability for folks to move during the summer as opposed to in that November, December is a game changer. And so we slugged it out for the first 3 buildings, and we said we're going to make this work, but to be able to get to that summer opening is very exciting. The next big one is the healthcare building, and that's the one that we're spending a ton of time on. You can see that they're doing some earthwork out there. We've gotten approval from the city to start on the site work and the foundation, and we're looking for final construction approval in January. We sort of separated the approval processes as a way to streamline and speed up the construction. We submitted just the site work and the footings and the foundation, and then we submitted the rest of the drawings about 2 weeks ago, and we expect the city to get back to us. So we're working fast and furious. We're still on track for an April 2021 opening for that building. So great progress moving forward there. So those are some of the big picture items. I then wanted to follow up on some of the items that came out of the last town hall, let you know where we are, and also some items that came up during your meeting with the Residents Advisory Council earlier this week. So one of the items that has continued to be on our list is the locker room floors and the slippery nature of it. I told you last town hall that we had a company coming out to take a look at the floor and propose a solution. They came out, took a look at the floor, and did not have a solution. They said, we don't know. And so we're trying to get another company to come in and make a recommendation in terms of what we can do to get that, make that less slippery or more traction. Also related to the pool, there was a request to, can we get automated doors, particularly folks who are using mobility devices. We are looking into that. We still need it secured and we still need it at a certain height to meet the regulations, but we've had initial conversations with building code and said, I think we should be able to come up with a solution on this. So we are going to leave this on the list. It's not done. It's going to take a little bit. There's everything from sort of electrical rewiring as well as door hardware, but that will stay on our list until we have a resolution one way or another on that. One update, the Residents in Care Agreement Amendment. We've received those from most of you all. There are still some outstanding ones that we would like signatures on. Beginning in January, June is going to be reaching out to individuals who we haven't had signed and ask if you can sign those, if you want to come in and discuss those. If you have questions about it, you're welcome to make an appointment with me and we can come in and review those. If you have lost yours, we have extra copies. You can come to the admin office and we can give you a copy. Resident satisfaction surveys. So you should have all received an email about 2 weeks ago asking you to complete the resident satisfaction survey. We are at about a 45% completion rate, which isn't great. Our goal is really 80%. And certainly more is better. These are important to us for a number of reasons. One is it's a very effective communication tool for you to share your feedback with us. This is clearly an opportunity. The Residents Advisory Council is an opportunity. We have open door policies, but I am continually surprised that every time we do one of these surveys, we learn things that we haven't learned through regular conversations and meetings. And so I would encourage you to please take the 10-15 minutes to fill out that survey. We are extending it through Monday of next week. One of the things we did on the survey that makes the response rate lower is we gave everybody a unique code. And we did that just so we had fidelity in terms of the survey. And I've got to think sort of long term. Last year we just had an open site. Anyone could go onto this, Brand Integrity, Summit Vista, and fill out a survey. But we need to make sure people aren't taking it 2 or 3 or 4 times. And so that's why there's a unique code, but it makes it more complex because everyone needs their code. They need to go into the site. There are some super users, residents who volunteered to say, I can help other residents if they want assistance. And so if you do need some assistance, I think the front desk and community life have a list of who those super users are. But if you take 15 minutes over the today or over the weekend, that would be greatly appreciated. Yes?
You haven't seen that survey?
If you've not seen that survey, how do we get a copy? Yep.
One of the issues about the survey, talking to someone else about it, is, you go into your email, you come on error first, it came in on email, and it has the sender's name. And then it goes on to explain. And I think, and talking with a couple of people, what they did was, well, I don't really know that person. I don't know why that person would be sending me an email, and deleted it, or left it where it was without reading it. And so I think that one thing we might work a little harder on, I don't know anything about formatting, and don't ever want to know anything about formatting. But I think we need to sort of focus the person on who is receiving the email. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep. So
it just looks like it's from, your next door neighbor, your next door neighbor.
yeah, so the comment was that the email was a little bit confusing. It wasn't readily identifiable. It came from someone, did it come maybe from me or something? It would have been.
It came from Jackie.
It came from Jackie, right? And so in the future, can we make these more visible so people see it? I think that's a great piece of feedback. We'll take that into account. If you don't have the email, if you deleted the email, all you need is your unique code, and you can go to the front desk or go to Amy or Jackie and get what that code is. So, plus the super users have a copy of the code as well, so if you find one of them, they'll be able to assist you with it. Yes, Chris.
Along with that, it would have been helpful if they would have highlighted. It was just
Great feedback. Next time, highlighting the code so that people see it. Yep.
It was very,
Yes, Valerie.
One problem I have, I felt the code and I copied and pasted it on, and it wouldn't let me in. And for you said you need to type it. And copy and paste it.
Okay, so Valerie tried to copy the code from the email and paste it in and had some trouble doing that. So that's another piece of feedback. Okay. Hot water in Maple Point. We've heard some concerns about hot water on the 5th floor in Maple Point, and we believe that one challenge with that was the recirculation pump. I know that the plumber was coming out this week and installing a large pump, and I don't know if we've got an update since we have done that.
Oh, we have now? I'm like, because everyone knows this is my job, right?
We do. It's going to be sometime after the first of the year, but we do have a resolution for that, and you should have immediate, or not immediate, but much quicker hot water in the apartment at a warmer temperature.
Great, thank you. One of the concerns is we've been getting some sewer smells right by the bridge and on the first floor by the art studio. We're still trying to track down what is causing it. We know some causes. Some of those are the P-traps, the drains. If they don't if they don't keep water in them, the sewer smell can come up through there. So one of the things we started doing almost 6 weeks ago is every night they pour water down those drains. But we were still smelling it in the morning, and security offered to add that to their rounds during the night so that instead of waiting till 6, 7, 8 in the morning, they were putting water in at 4 o'clock. That certainly helped. We also found some drains in the mechanical closets that weren't being poured water down consistently. That has improved it, but quite frankly, we've still got an odor. I walked into the marketing office, the back door there, over the last 2 days, and we still haven't fixed it completely. So we're going back with Oakland, our general contractor, and saying, okay, help us figure out what else might be causing that. So we're aware of it, but we don't have a great solution yet. Another concern we heard was a natural gas smell on the southwest corner of Red Pine Ridge, kind of by where the corner of that building is. We're aware of that. What that's a function of is the venting from the boiler down in the basement. It's not a dangerous natural gas, but it expels both the combusted natural gas, and there's a little bit of uncombusted natural gas that comes out. So it's not a fire hazard. We don't have a great solution for it because the boiler's down there, the mechanical room's in the basement, and the vents go right out there. So just wanted to let you know that it's not a danger, and hopefully as we just get the wind, it continues to blow that out. The clubhouse, some of you may have come into the clubhouse earlier this week, come down in the morning, and it was freezing cold. It was about 50 degrees. And what happened is about 3/4 of the HVAC temperature controls had been switched from heating to cooling. And we're not sure what happened there.
I think I pushed it on.
Yeah, Chris is pushing the wrong buttons. But that is something we'd ask. Please don't adjust those. You know, we could put boiler or plates on top to lock those down, but we do, you know, instead of having just one key, you know, there are employees who know how to adjust those. So if it is too warm or too cold in one of the restaurants, instead of having to call maintenance every time to adjust it, there are culinary art staff who are trained to do it. But we'd ask, you know, let an employee who knows how to do that to go ahead and adjust those. Yes. So yes, that certainly was one of the components of the workout room, but the workout room was still colder than we had anticipated and wanted it to be. So we're still looking at what's going on in the workout room, but that was one component to it. Voter registration. Gina has been focused on making sure that everyone here is registered to vote and has asked us if we would put voter registration forms available at the front desk. And so they are going to be there over the next couple weeks, next month. So if you are not registered to vote or haven't changed your address, please do that. You know, what you find out is that as we continue to grow, you all are going to have a major impact, particularly in terms of local elections, because you all vote at higher rates than other demographics. In the past, as we grew out, we actually had our own voter precinct or voting station on site. And what that meant is when you have a couple hundred or 1,000 people, politicians pay attention. And so, you know, that's really important. So I encourage you to go ahead and register to vote. Okay, as we come into the next year, we're going to be adding 4 new members to the Resident Advisory Council, and we're going to be holding elections during the first quarter. And the process, if you're interested in being a member of the Residents Advisory Council, we ask that you write a 1 or 2 paragraph bio and submit that to June in our administration office. And we ask that you do that by sort of the second week of January. What we're going to do with those is we're going to post them, we're going to make them available, we're going to put them on CareMerge, and then the Residents Advisory Council meeting in January, they're going to take a portion of their time to allow each of the candidates to stand up, present, tell about themselves, why they want to be a part of the Residents Advisory Council. And then in February, when we send out the bills, we'll send out a ballot in the bills for people to be able to vote. We'll collect those ballots in the first 2 weeks of February, and then we'll announce that at the RAC Town Hall meeting later in February. So if you're interested and want more information.
And it's so much fun.
They are 2-year terms, and you certainly have seen the RAC involvement for the town hall meetings. They also have been a great group to work with. They work with the leadership team, so each RAC member is assigned a department and works directly with the department. We also have a monthly meeting where I meet with the entire council, share some of my thoughts, go through financials, and this is where I get good information as well. So if you're interested, come to the administration office or talk to a current RAC member to find out more. We did receive our not-for-profit status. So as you know, we set up a 501c3 for two of our funds, the Benevolent Care Fund and the Scholarship Fund. We got IRS approval, but we needed to get Utah approval to be able to solicit for those funds. We did receive that approval. And one of the notes that I want to end on is I want to really thank you for our Employee Appreciation Fund. You all have been tremendously generous individually and raising money through the garage sale. Our goal was $10,000, and if you remember that $10,000, we've got a formula based on full-time, part-time, how long people have worked here, but if we hit that $10,000, that meant about $150 for a full-time employee who'd been here since opening. And we thought that was an amount to be meaningful. We're going to gross that up in terms of taxes, so all that money goes into the employee's pocket. But as of Monday this week, we were actually up to almost $21,000. And so we wanted it to be a surprise for employees, so we've still been talking about that $100, $150. So if you keep it a little mum, I think it will be a nice surprise in January when you all hand that out to employees. All right, I think we have a culinary arts update.
Cinnamon roll.
We sure do.
It's like show and tell.
Hi, everybody. I brought one of these for everybody.
Just kidding. I will start there, though.
It's a resident satisfaction survey.
I will start there. This was a suggestion from Mr. John Norsteel. Remember when you suggested this to me, John? We do these cinnamon rolls down the marketplace all the time. He says, hey, why don't you put those in a little pie dish, put 6 or 7 or 8 cinnamon rolls in there, we put 8 in here, and have them available frozen for us to buy them that we can bake off on Christmas morning, right? So we have these are available. They'll be in the marketplace right after this meeting. So if you want to go grab some, they're frozen. There's instructions on them how to reheat, and they make your house smell really good on Christmas morning. Or you can come get some. We're going to have some here in the restaurant that day too. But anyway, I wanted to let y'all know that these are available for purchase in the marketplace. And we also have Sarah's back there making hot chocolate cheesecake, pecan pie, apple pie, and pumpkin pies. If you would like to order some, if you're going to your family's house or anything like that, we can get those on order. You can just let Katie know. We'll get those on order again. And we'll get those orders in by Tuesday, or today and Monday, so we can have them all going out on Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, I have a few things coming up. We have a busy week. This is a busy time of year. We've had lots of catered events, lots of things going on. I don't know if you've seen, but we've had big crowds everywhere. Saturday was a big event. We had a big celebration there. So I hope you enjoyed that, Enid. Had a great time. It was beautiful. We did really big numbers on Brunch with Santa. We did 130 people. So that was really nice to see. A great event. Thank you, Debbie, wherever you are, for planning that, get that organized. We enjoyed that very much. And then we have lots of people that are bringing their families and doing catered parties. So we're loving that. We're doing a couple of service changes for next week. Christmas Eve is a service change. So the Broadford Bistro, the Copperview Terrace, and the Cottonwood Cafe Marketplace will be closed that day. Meal service will be in the Olympus Room from 11 to 2. We have a great buffet planned, beef Wellington and salmon with hollandaise and lots of good stuff on that menu. Cakes, pies, desserts, omelet bar. We're going to go all out for these. And shrimp, and I know that somebody likes shrimp cocktail in here. No. So we'll have lots of good stuff like that. Christmas Day is the same. The Cottonwood Care, the restaurant that will be open is the Olympus Room, and that's from 11 to 2. Again, a brunch service. So that'll be coming. We've got lots of good specials for next week too. And then the week after that, we're going to be celebrating the new year.
So we have a great party on New Year's Eve. We have a big band coming in. We're going to have the dance floor set up, dinner, dancing. The dinner hours in the Olympus Room will be extended that day. We'll be open from 5 to 8. And then we have a great menu that night. It's going to be a plated, composed plates, really beautiful looking plates. And then the balloon drop will be at 9 p.m. in the Olympus Room. Remember that last year? What a great time that was. For those of you that weren't here, we had balloons all up in here, and at 9 o'clock we pulled the string and balloons went everywhere. And that was fun. And then we have the ball drop. We're going to celebrate at 10 o'clock in the lounge, in the living room there. So we'll watch that on the televisions, toast some sparkling cider, and we have some goodies in there as well. Okay? And then New Year's Day is also a service change. So that'll be the same as what we're doing on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It's going to be brunch service only in the Olympus Room from 11 to 2. And I haven't written that menu yet, so if you have any suggestions, I know that some people like to eat black-eyed peas on New Year's Day. Eat one for every day of the year to have good luck. So we can do stuff like that and have some fun on that menu. And then, so that's New Year's Day. And then 2 days later, on January 3rd, we're going to have a pajama party. So that day is going to be dinner service. It'll be regular hours, regular dinner service. And we're going to have the full menu. We'll be running the full menu. We'll also have a breakfast buffet. So you can either say, oh no, I want to eat a cheeseburger off the menu, or I want a pork chop, or I'm going to go up and have an omelet and pancakes and waffles and that kind of stuff.
Do our colleagues in know what we're celebrating? What day was that?
Do our colleagues in Maple Point know what we're celebrating?
Well, we're remembering. I don't know if we want to celebrate, right?
I know I don't celebrate it.
And we want.
I forgot administration.
And we want to be sensitive a little bit, right? Because some people it was not easy for some of us. But I think what we want to celebrate, and certainly want to celebrate, is the camaraderie that we're bringing us together and making the best of a really difficult situation, and letting us know that we are family, and it's an opportunity for us to come together as a family. And yes, there's those things that happen in our lives that take us, a few years, and you say, okay, 20 years from now we'll be laughing about this, right? We've all had those kind of situations. So that could be one of those. Anyway, those are the announcements that I have right now. I also want you to know that after this meeting in the Broadford Bistro, we have some really good specials for lunch. We have a patty melt, and we have an Italian meat grinder. Really nice looking sandwich. So if you're hungry, please come join us in the bistro for lunch today. And happy eating. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus. One further update related to snow removal. When we had our first snow, we did not get it up from the sidewalks as quickly or timely as we wanted to, and so we sat down with our GS colleagues and said, what can we do here? They were very responsive, and they said, okay, we're going to change some of the hours that folks are working, so we've got people who are coming in earlier and people who are staying later. We're going to salt every day in morning and night, even if it's not snowy. And one of the reasons we do that is we got runoff that's coming down, and we want to make sure that that doesn't turn into ice. And then the other thing that our security colleague said is we can help out with this as well, because we don't have maintenance folks here all night long, but we need to keep critical access and egress clear for emergency purposes. So we're not going to be able to shovel all the sidewalks around the campus all night long, but we're going to make sure that the main entrances to the buildings, the main entrances in front, and those sidewalks remain clear at all time. And it's been real teamwork for folks in the general services, maintenance, and security departments to help with that. So thank you all for that. Yes?
Hold on.
Before that question, I have one more thing, and I was a little bit sensitive about not bringing this up. We talked about it last month, but today is Jody's last day with us at Summit Vista. And I didn't want to make Jody cry, and that's why I didn't bring it up earlier, but I did want y'all to know, and I wanted to thank Jody for all of her hard work from the bottom of my heart. everything that you've done here, Jody. We are going to miss you, and then we know you're going to come back and visit. So that's the best part.
Okay, I actually have two questions, one for Marcus, and we had heard about the bistro possibly having extended hours on Thursday and Friday. Is that going to take place soon or later?
So right now, the bistro is open on Thursdays and Fridays. If you remember the last town hall meeting, we decided that 4 was too early, so we moved the opening back to 5 o'clock. So we're doing 5 to 7 in the bistro on Thursdays and Fridays. And what we're working on, and I can't give you an exact timeline, but we're working on extending the days of the week. So it won't be just Friday and Saturday, but it'll be, our Thursday and Friday will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll expand another day, and another day, and another day after that. And then in addition to that, we're working on expanding that menu as well.
Okay, and the other question is on snow removal. And I know I mentioned this last year as well, it's probably asking too much, but the snow that gets in between each car up here, that's what I end up tripping over. Because it builds up and the cars go in and out of their spaces, and the middle part of the driveway is all clear. But there's mounds of snow in between. Now, if you give me a shovel, I'll shovel on either side of my car. But, those are, I think, possibility of falling on that snow.
So the question relates to snow removal, specifically snow removal in the parking lots between cars. And I know that the team has been trying to do some of that in different areas. I will tell you, it's not something that we can do long term. We're not going to be able to shovel out every car, and I need to set that expectation up front. It is a service that, as we grow out, General Services will offer, and I don't know what the price is going to be, if it's $5 or $10 to shovel out a car, but you would be able to arrange for that, but it's just something that, we're not going to be able to shovel out every car. I do agree there are trip hazards. One thing we might be able to look at, and I know that there are snow shovels that are at some of the main entrances, and so we may be able to leave some snow shovels there if people want to use those to shovel out their car, as long as they don't walk away. We'll see what we can do about that. I got your question. Okay.
Good job.
Mark, I have two questions for you. On the 501(c), are we going to be getting a statement from the office for tax purposes?
Yes, if you make a donation, you will get a statement for tax purposes for the 501(c)(3).
Okay, my second question is, you talk a lot about revenue and budgets. How is the health facility that is being built work into our budget?
So the question is, how does a health facility
revenue? Has that been projected already?
That has.
Is it going to be a bonus for us?
I'll let Garrett. Garrett has been focusing a ton of time on this, so he's going to be the best person to answer this.
Sure. So it's a combination of a couple of things. It's partly a standalone building in that it will be operated with the same investor group, but also a partner in CMS Mission as well. So from a building project standpoint, it'll have a benefit to residents in the contemplated discount that will be for some Vista residents going over there. It has a positive for the project and investment as a whole in terms of the ability to fund the investment and to assist in not only providing a greater opportunity for residents to become, or people become some Vista residents, but then in addition to basically provide additional economies of scale for this project as a whole. Does that answer your question?
Not really.
Fair enough.
Okay, let me ask it a different way. Mark presents us every month with the budget, and we're running I'm negative, but it's okay because we budgeted for that. Do you foresee the health facility being a positive or a negative on Summit Vista's cash flow?
A positive on Summit Vista's cash flow.
All right, thank you.
I think it's about 9 months to get to a break even, and then it's a positive cash flow. But it's financed completely separately, so we're not going to commingle the funds, but it will roll up ultimately, to the investor group. So it's certainly positive for Summit Vista both to have it and then from an ultimate profitability and business side. Yes.
I guess in relation.
Hold on.
In relation to what?
Well, she doesn't listen to anyone, does she?
No, I don't.
Hold it up closer to her.
Yeah. In addition to what was just said, as far as the building goes, if we were in need of transferring from our home here to the health center, like assisted living, and we need to live there, we need that assistance the rest of our lives, are we still an actual Summit Vista resident?
So the question is, if once the health facility is built, if someone needs to move over to assisted living or memory care or nursing care permanently,
Yes.
are you still a Summit Vista resident? And the answer is yes. So the residence and care agreement is still in place. There's an amendment to that. And as a Summit Vista resident, you have access, continue to have access to all the independent living amenities as well. So you will continue to be a Summit Vista resident. You'll continue to receive bills from Summit Vista, and the residence and care agreement will stay in place.
Yes, I guess.
Okay, well, I think we're a little early today, which is fine. We'll be sticking around for a couple minutes if you all have any questions. So thank you very much. Please take advantage of the special in the bistro today, and have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Sorry I threw water at you earlier. At least it was just water.
Yeah.